Thank you. With Doceri, the reason I'm using my laptop is I know it's on there, and so I brought it. It happens to be on the, well, that's my background up there, so that's not the gorgeous background you see. But one of the first things you have to do when you want to connect Doceri to your computer is you have to make sure that the IP address is correct. And so, for example, when I go here and click on Doceri, just a second, it should be open down here. Let me click on it. Okay, you see this IP address coming up? Okay, when you want to connect Doceri to that, make sure that one of these things on this line has that IP address, or you're never going to get to your computer. And at Laterno, the IP addresses are not static. They can be different every day if on the computers. And for example, because I'm on the wireless network, mine was different this morning than it was yesterday. So always make sure. Then once you get that, and you get a screen like this on your on your notebook or iPad, whatever, then I'm going to click on what's called Lois Now's Home, and the reason is this is my home computer. Now, what you're seeing up there is exactly what I'm seeing on my iPad, which is wonderful. Great teaching tool. Now, the first thing I wanted us to look at is the idea of a student emails you, and a lot of you that are sitting in here are in technical areas, mathematical, scientific, and so forth, or even if you just want to explain a little paragraph or something about whatever. Okay, they email you, and as we discussed and I've mentioned, sometimes it's really hard to respond to an email using the proper characters. They're just not always available. So I'm going to, up here, click on this, one of my buttons, and what I'm going to be able to do is get, let's see, shall we use a blackboard or a whiteboard? Let's use a blackboard. Okay, we're going to use a blackboard here. All right, now I'm going up here to my pen, and I'm going to make it like an old-fashioned piece of chalk. All right, so that when I write, okay, now you can write on this. I've used it in my classroom when I ran out of board space. You can ask any of my students. I'm notorious for running out of board space. And so I get a third board with this, and I write the problem up there or whatever. So from the standpoint of in the classroom, if you need, C103 is awful for board space because you can only see 2 boards at one time. This gives you a third board if you need it, okay? Or some of the other little smaller classrooms. All right, now, here's what I like about it. Let me erase this trash that I just put up there. I'm going to tell it to erase all strokes. But here's the primary thing that I want to show you all. Let's suppose that a student, let's do something simple like factor. All right? Let's suppose a student emails me and says, Ms. Ellis, how do you factor the following? Okay, right up here there is a record button. So I'm going to click and I'm going to tell it to start recording. Now what it's going to do is, and it is right now, recording everything I'm saying. So I'm going to say, well, okay, you want to factor, let's say x squared minus 6x plus 5. All right, so remember what we do. We set up 2 sets of parentheses, and we look at x squared, and we say, nice, that'll factor into x and x. Now, we need 2 numbers that when we multiply them together, we get 5. When we add them, we get negative 6. Oh ho, minus 5, minus 1. Whoops. And then you can also put all sorts of little comments like, there was an oh duh, I can't even write. All right, so that's our factors. We could put it back together. So when you're done, you come up here and you tell it to stop recording. And then what's going to happen here is that your Doceri recordings come up with a screen that looks like so. And what I want to do is I want to take this recording and I want to send it via email. Start recording. Now what it's going to do is, and it is right now, recording everything I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to poke on this button right here. Let's say x squared minus 6x. All right. Plus 5. And I'm going to tell it to email it to me. And we look at x squared and we say, nice, that'll factor into x. And this is a practice. Okay, and let's tell it to send, and let's shut me up. How about that? Okay, now here's what happens. We're here. Let's, we'll tell that to save, and I've opened my email here. And here's, now this, what you would do is you'd send it to the student that wants it, you know, that emailed you. And so you open this. Right here is the movie. Tell it to open. And now what it's going to do is, and it is right now, recording everything I'm saying. And then they get a recording not only of how you've written it out, but of you explaining what you wrote. I have used that multiple times this summer with my online pre-calculus course and things like that, because over the phone, try to work a math problem over the phone. And, you know, like for example, those of you in writing classes, there's probably a way, and some of you that know Doceri better than me, okay, let's shut this thing up. Okay, so can probably tell you how, for example, you could pull up an essay that you wanted to grade and annotate it and talk instead of maybe what Annie does, which is she records it, but then they have to be watching this. The recording would go right along with where you are. Now, Greg is fantastic with that kind of stuff on Doceri. He gave his whole presentation at his forum with those kind of things. I'm not good at pulling that up. That's what I like. Now, there's another thing I like about Doceri is, let's say, for example, excuse me, just a second. Let me escape out of here. And, okay, I want to escape. No, I don't want to disconnect. Wait a minute. What I should have mentioned this to you. You can't see it up there, but you can also save what you put down there. If you, for example, if your movie is too long, you can save it as a PDF and send it to a student, and they won't have any voice with it, but they would still see you writing out the problem. Okay? Because sometimes when you're putting voice to it, did you notice that thing had 2 megs in it? And it didn't last a minute. So sound is a killer. Okay? Now, just a second. I want to get something else up here. Okay, we'll put that down. And now, here's another thing that I really like. Dr. Anderson, there's one for you. I think he's in here. I'm going to forward that one to you. Algebra for Sidney Cash. It needs an override. Okay, we don't need my email anymore. Here's another thing I like to do. I'm a big user of this piece of graphing software, called maple. And so, for example, we do something like plot. Oh, come on. And we may plot something like x squared minus 2 times x, and its derivative, which would be 2 times x minus 2. All right, so then let's let x go from maybe minus 4 to 4, and y will let go from minus 4 to 4. No, that's not going to be big enough. Okay, and we'll distinguish the color.
I think that should be 4.4. It should be. Oh, I see.
Okay, red and blue. Okay, now let's see what we, oh, very good. Okay, now here's what's great about this thing. They don't look very kindly at you walking up there with your dry erase marker and writing on the screen. I've been told. Lauren has done it. Lauren did it once. Guess what? It's up there until the screen is replaced. But this allows you, and I want to write on this, so I'm putting it in drawing mode, and I need to get something other than white. Okay, let's write with some kind of, oh, how about magenta? That always turns everybody on. All right, and so you can put things like, do you notice here we've got a little minimum there? Hey, guess what? Look where it crosses, look where the blue line crosses the x-axis. Whoa, does that give you a hint about where the maximums and minimums are for a function? Golly, they're where the derivative equals 0. What a concept. All right? And then you can write things, you can say, okay, did you notice that from here to here it was decreasing? And so forth. And this could be saved then and sent out to somebody, you know, to the class or whatever. Yeah.
Did you just pull this maple into your Doceri?
No, maple's sitting right here on the screen. I am connected with this to here.
But is that Doceri right over the top of the maple?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it, right, what I've got right now mirrors. And I don't want to do anything else because Gary is going to do big stuff with Doceri. But these are the places where I use it. All right? And I don't want to get in his way with it. Now, anything you want. If you're in the sciences, some kind of a diagram from a book. All right. I'm going to show you how to get a diagram from a book. But I'm not going to use a book. So I'm going to escape and get out of here. I'm just going to discard this. I don't want to save it. All right? And you notice this tiny little thing that's sitting right up here? Okay, that's the Snagit button. Now, if you don't buy anything else, buy Snagit. Because, for example, let's suppose that I want to put a picture in a Word document. Okay, so I open Word, and then I've already got a picture made. I made it with, well, I didn't think I closed it, but I must have. No, here's what I wanted. Sorry, I found it. Okay, isn't that a wonderful picture? I sure would like to put that in a Word document, and I don't want to try to redo it. So I come here to Snagit, click on that button, and I get this set. And if I want the instructions to go with it, I click at the upper left corner, drag, until I have everything I want, release, take a picture of it, and now I have a choice. I can do a Control-C and copy it, or I can go up here to share and say, I want to share this with Word. Okay, it's captured successfully and sent to Word document 1. And there it is in your Word document. And this would be fantastic for grabbing a diagram. If you've got your textbooks on CourseSmart, and they're ebooks. Go in and grab that diagram you want to put on a test with Snagit and put it on your test. Okay, it's the textbook you're using. I don't recommend doing that for a textbook you're not using. You could get killed with copyright laws, but it's the textbook you're using. And so some of you are good at drawing. I can't draw worth anything. And so this Snagit is the best thing. I sent emails to students this summer. They were having trouble with their calculator. So I would call up the calculator. Okay, there's the calculator. And I would explain to them how to do something. And then I would go here and snag this thing, just like that. And then if you're going to put it in an email, you do Control-C, go to your email. Here's a new one. Come down here, Control-V, send it to your student, and they can see what they need to see. Snagit, S-N-A-G-I-T. It can be a standalone program. And you see that fella in the blue shirt back there? Contact him for how to use it. CDT, he's my person that I contact for help, yeah.
I saw a record button, Snagit. I saw a camera and So can you record video as well with sound or without sound?
I haven't tried that. I bet with sound.
Quick question, I usually use a print screen button to snag the screen and then pop it. Is that
Yeah.
better or worse resolution than a Snagit?
It's going to be the same. This is just more convenient.
Yeah, I don't have to crop it.
There's, Windows comes with a snippet where you can just
Oh.
and grab whatever you want out of it, does a video, but you don't have to do the whole
Oh.
screen and crop it, you can just grab whatever you
There's
want.
some other features with Snagit where you can take a whole document instead of having to scroll, take a picture, scroll, take a picture. They can just read the document.
Okay, thank you. See, there's all sorts of things. CDT at letu.edu. I don't know what I would have done without those guys this summer. Now, let's talk a little bit about Camtasia. Here's the thing with Camtasia, ladies and gentlemen, I almost said class. I've been in this business a long time, is if I can learn how to do it, you can learn how to do it. I did not have good luck with Panopto. I just didn't have good luck with it when I tried it. And so Tommy Gober said, well, have you ever tried Camtasia? And I had not. And you can get a free download for 30 days to see whether you like it. And then for educators, the price is $179. Now, I'm going to have the privilege of doing the October Lunch and Learn, and that's where I'm going to really show you some goodies, more than I can show you here. Okay? Now, just to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do with Camtasia is, for example, this was my summer school course, my online course, and if you were in the first meeting, no, not, I don't remember where, the one that Tommy and all those guys did. Right here is an example of a video being inside, and the student clicks on that, and it comes up, and
Professor of Mathematics at Doceri University.
little slow on the sound.
Instructor for this course. This course is not a typical online course. It's an online course.
And of course, the beautiful thing about a video is you can stop it anywhere. If you get bored with,
Really looking forward.
okay, right here, you can stop it, move it over, find new things. You know, and one of the beautiful things about videos for your class is they can stop it anywhere and back up and look at it. And so I wanted a pre-calculus class where, of course, you know me, most of you, I always think I can do it better than anything that's out there right now. I don't have an ego problem. No, I just have broken my arm patting myself on the back. So I made my own videos for this course. And so for example, let me show you, and then we will look at some of the things that you can do, but this will give you an idea. For example, week 1 had this entire set of videos that the students could look at to get helps, right? And so, for example, I'll show you, this is what I did with Camtasia. And these are on YouTube. And of course, you can put it full screen if you want to. And let me just make it go on ahead here. All right, here is an example of putting the Doceri in. And you can kind of personalize it. Don't make fun of my lines. And I'll say, oh, duh, periodically. And see, that's what's called a call out. And the call out explains what I was doing while it did these various things. Okay. Snagit, get out of the way. Okay, let's exit full screen, and that makes it look like something you can, oh, here's, yeah, I wanted to show you one other thing, and then we'll look at how you do it. Vertical and horizontal shifts. And you can put these arrows on and animate them. Then you go to Maple and you make it draw the picture for you.
There we go. And we notice that we have the vertical shift. Now, let's check out a horizontal shift of C units down.
And you can animate your little arrow to move down to your next step.
And this should show what graph
and so forth.
being moved down relative.
Okay, now, how do you do that? Well, when you load Camtasia, you come up with something that looks like the following. And you want a new, you've got a new project that you want. I want a new project. And so, oh, I knew better than to do that. It gets the wiggles. Wait, okay, out of the way. Okay, let's try again here. Okay, now, right up here, record the screen. And when you record the screen, you get this little thing that enables you, can you see sort of the white outline up there? It's going to record anything that you do in that white outline. So for example, let's go back to my calculator. All right, and I want to record something. And so, see, that was the last thing I recorded, so it fits right in that little white triangle, rectangle. I want the audio off right now. Let me turn the audio off because I like to record my whole thing and then go back and put the audio on. Now, the reason for that is it eliminates the oohs and the ahs and the ums and the pregnant pauses and all of those kind of things that happen if you're thinking while you're writing or typing. So I make my video, and so what we're going to do here is let's tell it to record, and then I have to click, because I have to turn the calculator back on. All right, then everything that I'm going to type in here, let's say I want to factor, whoops, wrong keyboard, here we go. Let's say we want x squared minus 4x plus 6, and we want that to factor. Oh, my gracious, it doesn't factor. Okay, no problem. Why doesn't it factor? It gives you an opportunity. Now, all the time here, it is, notice the seconds are ticking off. Now, it's not recording any sound at this moment, but it is recording that I'm giving them time because I'm going to talk later over this thing. Okay, let's tell it to stop. And then we get a screen that looks like this, and you can then save it and edit it. Okay, let's call this temp 1. And it puts it right in here. Just a second, let's put this up at about 75%. And it puts it right here, and then it's now in your Camtasia, and if you can see down here, this blue line in this track is where that's going. And then, you know, after we got done, I let it pause for 20 or 30 seconds, 20 seconds, because I want to talk about it after I finish. Okay? Now, we'll stop this. Now, you can then go to these things called callouts, right? And for example, I want to write something in an arrow. So I'm going to click it. And I can either keep it blue. I can move that clear over there if I want to. I can keep it blue, or the neat thing here is I can go to Effects, or Fill. Oh, Fill. And I'm going to say, I think I want it filled with red. Okay, then do I want a border? No border. Sorry, clicked on the wrong thing. I want no border. Then I can come right here, and how about we type in white? All right, and we can type in, this is an example of factoring. And then you can just, oops, I need to stretch it. Good, got everything there. And you can point it to wherever you want. These are called callouts. Okay. Now, have I got 2 minutes, Curtis? I knew he was going to say that. All right. I just want to open one project here and show you what it looks like. This is that one we start, let me see, I got some notes here. 1.4.4 on non-rigid transformations. Do not be concerned that you have no idea what that means. Okay, we can start to play it. I can go up here and make it full screen.
These are transformations that cause a distortion.
And one of the things is you can put this nice background on it. I put the Laterno brand on everything's got the Laterno brand on it.
Vertical stretch or shrink.
And
Notice we
you,
multiply
you know, you can put all of these goody things in there.
here.
So we're going to type some things in and draw and
Notice what happens when
so forth.
we have a vertical stretch or shrink.
Now,
We say
what I want to show, okay, back to here. Stop. All right, now, you see all these lines down here. These are your tracks. This is the background track. That's that filled white rectangle that you're putting everything in. And this particular video has 7 tracks, And there's your audio track at the very top. And that's the one that nice little Ian back there, or other people over at CDT, will go through and take some of your ahs and your hums and your burps and your coughs and things like that out of. Okay, thank you. I'm going to do more for this in the October Lunch and Learn if you want to come.